Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build. So today I am building another family home, and this time I am building one for a sim that likes to garden. Now I realize that I have done these sorts of builds a lot, especially lately ever since we got seasons because of the revamp of the gardening skill and the new career and all of the cool outdoorsy stuff, but I just love building these kinds of houses, and this one is definitely no exception, so I hope you guys will like it, but definitely let me know what you guys think. And I was modeling this house off of a build that I've had on Pinterest for a very long time, so I'll link that in the description, and the website it takes you to is really cool because it gives you a lot of really detailed pictures of the inside of the homes that they have on their website, and they have like interior design all done, and you can do like 360 views of the houses. It's really great, so if you're really not comfortable coming up with your own house plans, it's definitely a website that I think would be really helpful. Now, I didn't copy the house exactly because some things just are not possible in The Sims, and also some things I guess were kind of just a design choice. I took just made some changes to make it look, I think, a little bit better in my opinion, but I definitely love the way it turns out, so definitely check that out in the description if you would like to. And also another thing I wanted to link, I think I'll link it at the end of the video in the end card, but it's the house that I built next door. Now you can't see it, I don't think, it's because it's a little bit far away. I am building this in Brindleton Bay on one of these lots that's like nestled in the trees. These are some of my favorite lots. It's over by the ocean or by the like beach area, and it's these like kind of lots that are hidden behind the road in the trees. They're just so cute, and everything that I've ever built here I've just loved. I don't know why, if it's just like the atmosphere or what, but I just have so much fun with it, so I will definitely link that one on the end card. It's pretty similar, I think, in design, so that's pretty cool. Maybe if you like this one, you'll like that one if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, I don't know, it was so much fun to build. It does take me a while to get there because, like I said, I was looking at a house on a website, and so I was trying to kind of make it look like that one. And so the roof and the back of the house is what I changed the most, and I really do like the way it all turns out because it takes me a while to get there. So I would try to do these little rooms poking out, and then I make like these, I don't know, you'll see it come together. I don't really know how to describe it, but we'll see it unfold. And originally I was gonna leave like the back of the house pretty bland, but I end up putting a deck back here, which I think looks really, really nice. So I'm just very happy with the way it turns out, but of course let me know what you guys think as well. And this house ends up having 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, a laundry room, an office, and then a pretty open living kitchen area. It's like all one room, so it has a pretty open floor plan. It does have a little bit of modern vibes to it, and I was really struggling with what to call this house because I was like really wanting to give it like a dream home name, but I'm like, I can't call it a gardener's dream home because I've already done that, and it was like a month ago, so it hasn't been like enough time, I think, to do another one. And I was thinking it was pretty rustic, a little bit modern, but not really modern enough to call it a modern home. And I don't know, I just feel like it was just a rustic gardener's home is what I came up with because I felt like it summed up what I was thinking, but it's rustic in a different way than I think I have done rustic homes before. So I'm really happy with it. It has a pretty light and bright interior, but a little bit more of a rustic exterior, and I'm just very happy with it. So I've said that enough, but you guys can definitely let me know what you guys think. The exterior is pretty much coming together. Like I said, the roof doesn't stay exactly the same. I don't end up keeping that skylight because it really didn't work with the way I did the floor plan. And unfortunately, I did have to cut out the floor plan in this video just because it took me a long time, and this video would have been way too long, I think, if I would have included it. So I do have to cut that out sometimes, but here I am changing up the back of the house, and just to make enough room for the master bedroom, because the master bedroom does end up being on the bottom floor, and the floor plan I was working off of also had the bedroom on the bottom floor, but it had like this walk-in closet area. It also had an ensuite bathroom, which I do keep, but the ensuite also ends up being like the downstairs bathroom as well. So you'll see it has like 2 doors leading, one door leading into it and another one leading out of it. Like, it has 2 doors. So it's a little bit weird, probably even for a master bedroom, but I think it all works, and I figured it would be more playable. So we'll see that when we get onto the interior, but I did add that deck on the back, and I think it looks really nice. I also ended up adding a greenhouse out here because I was trying to think of a way to make it different than my other more garden-y type houses. Like, I should talk about this for a second. Okay, these roof pieces were making this room appear as if it was outside, and I could not get them to have blank walls on the interior. It was only showing the exterior wallpaper on the interior, so we do change that in a little while. But anyways, back to the greenhouse. So I've created greenhouses lately, but I've always had them in mind of having like vegetables and fruits in here. So what I was thinking for this house to have it be a little bit differently, of course you can have whatever plants you want, but I was kind of thinking that this was more of a florist's house. So I think I would fill up the greenhouse full of like flowers and just maybe really beautiful greenery plants. I'm not sure exactly what all we have in game for creating the flower arrangements, but that's what I was thinking, that the person that lived here was primarily a florist. So I thought that was a bit of fun, but here's a greenhouse now, and it's the same way. I have been creating greenhouses lately where I just put the roof on the ground because it doesn't require any foundation, and your Sims can still get into it perfectly, and then I just put a glass roof over top of it, and I think it just looks really nice, and I love the way it's decorated. I think it comes together really nicely. It's just so pretty. And something I wanted to mention, you will notice that I went into the game just building without a sim on the lot, so that way it's just kind of the eternal summer that we've always had in the game. But when I went to go take the screenshots, it was fall, and I really liked that effect, so I took all of the screenshots in fall, so there's leaves all over the ground, and you'll notice that I put a lot of these really beautiful white flowers that came with Romantic Garden stuff all over the house, and I like size them up and make them like really big and beautiful. But during fall they get like this really creamy off-white color, and I was just like, I couldn't change the season. I was like, no way, these are too beautiful to not take pictures of. So I thought that was really nice. But here I am changing the exterior, and I still end up having to change it because I could not get these rooms to think that they were an actual indoor room. They just kept having outdoor lighting, so it was a bit weird. I've never had this happen before. I've had the roof pieces cause the wallpaper problem before, and I just kind of work around it and, you know, say whatever, but I cannot have it be outdoor lighting. It's just, it will look too weird and wouldn't make the interior look as nice. So but I actually like the result in the end. I think the house has a little bit more of a simpler structure than I would necessarily go with, but I think it all works, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. I also don't end up keeping all of these awnings over the windows. I just keep a few of them. I felt like it was a bit overdone, but yeah, really happy with the way the exterior turns out. And it's kept clipping to the room that was underneath of it because of the, I guess, the roof room that I created. I don't know, it was being really weird and I didn't feel like messing with it, and so I think that was part of the reason I decided to get rid of the awnings, because I couldn't end up having it in all the windows. But like I said, I do like the way it looks in the end, and I love these rustic floorboards that I put on all the decks. They came with what is that called? Spooky stuff. I want to say the Halloween stuff pack, but it's not called Halloween in the game. It's called, what is it called? Spooky Day, I think. But the spooky stuff pack, I love those floorboards. I pretty much use them on like all of my decks, on a lot of my builds, just because they look really weathered and I feel like they make really realistic deck flooring. But I am starting with the landscaping now. Now I really landscaped this house, and I kept most of it in, like pretty much all of it, because it didn't take me that long. It is pretty repetitive, so I do apologize if landscaping isn't your favorite thing to watch, but I just love the way it came together and just felt so cozy and overgrown, and I loved sizing up these plants. I forget exactly what they're called in game, but they came with Romantic Garden. They have all these beautiful white flowers, and like I said, in the screenshots you'll notice that they're like this really creamy white color, and I find that like that off-white color really romantic and pretty, so I was very happy with the effect of it. So I just, yeah. I did share a picture of this on Twitter, and I was like, I may have built one of my favorite houses ever, but I do say that about a lot of my builds, but I do mean it. I just am very happy with the way they turned out. But we are starting with some of the terrain paint, and I've used this terrain paint quite a bit. It's really pretty. It's got like these, like, I guess little pebbles in them, and it looks really nice, and yeah, I do like it. So I kind of put it everywhere, so hopefully you guys do like that. I also get a clothesline outside. I also get the water balloon bucket, and then over on the back deck we have a place to have like some outdoor seating area, like to have like an outdoor dining table is what I mean, and a barbecuer, and then I think I put a bench out front. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of activities outside. But this area in general has so many things to do, like you're in walking distance from the beach, and you can do like a bunch of fishing there, you can collect feathers, and there's always people walking around, so you can like socialize. But also to, I think, the left of this lot, there's like a little like meadow area, and there's a pond, and you can do fishing like right in your back door. So like that's amazing. So that was one of the things that I was really happy about this lot. And something else you'll probably notice, there's not any toys on the outside. Now this is a 3-bedroom house, and I said it's a family home, but I actually made it for 2 parents and their 2 teenagers, because I felt like I've never really done that before. I've done plenty of builds with teenager rooms, but not one where they only have teenager children. So I was kind of thinking maybe they bought this house once their kids became teenagers, and it's kind of going to be their forever home once their kids are out of the house and they're kind of like getting ready for their kids to go off to college or, you know, move away or whatever. And this is like their dream retirement home. So they're getting a little bit older and they wanted to settle down here in kind of these little, I always call this the countryside of Brindleton Bay. Now that's probably not correct because Sable Square is probably the countryside. So what should I call this? Like the beach side? I don't know. But this is where they want to retire, and I think that's kind of a cool story, and I loved decorating the teenager rooms. I imagine that they were both girls, but of course you could have whatever Sims that you wanted, and I was kind of thinking that maybe they were like twins, perhaps, and maybe they just had twins, and they're like, you know, we don't need to have any more kids. 2 is plenty, but I haven't fully decided, but I'm definitely probably going to include this house in my save file, and I'll create the family, so whenever I release that, I'll show the family come together. But anyways, so I decorated the rooms for them to have 2 different personalities, but kind of the same, and that's why I was thinking they were twins. I mean, also because they're both teenagers, but one of them is a little bit more soft and girly and a little bit more, not really organized, but a little bit more organized looking. And I was thinking that she is extremely outgoing. They're both very creative, and I was thinking that she is really into socializing, and the other one is a little bit more edgy and into music. So we'll see that come together when we decorate the rooms. It'll probably be a little bit easier to talk about when it's actually happening on screen. But right now we are decorating the greenhouse, and I love the way it comes together. Now it's pretty similar to my other greenhouses, so I don't know how many of these you guys want to see me build, but I'm probably going to keep building them because I love them. I just have so much fun decorating them. I got the bees in here, and so far I haven't had any issues with having the bees inside the greenhouses, but I haven't play tested them for that long. I'm sure once I put together my file and I actually go through and play every house for a while and kind of get everything built up, I'll find what works and what doesn't. And if it doesn't work, then I'll just move the bees outside. But I figure they should be close to the flowers, and I don't know if they could actually go indoors. So that's my reasoning behind having them in here. And then I got lots of little pots and stuff for the Sims to grow their flowers and whatnot. And then now I'm just lighting up the exterior. I ended up putting these single bulbs on a chain. I felt like it was a bit rustic and kind of a cool look to it. I think those came with Laundry Day, so I definitely used a lot of Laundry Day in this house. And I was trying to think of the other items that I may have used, and I really used stuff from every pack, and I don't know if there's anything specifically that would really be key to making this house complete, but I mean, Laundry Day, cats and dogs, and the seasons maybe? I really don't know. It's hard to say, but oh, and I also used a lot of the sliding doors you probably noticed on the exterior that came with the new update that was like a Caribbean theme update, and it's almost like a Caribbean stuff pack. I was watching a speed build earlier. I forget who it was, but they were referencing the update, and I thought they were going to say Caribbean pack, and I was like, it is nearly a pack. There's so many great things. So hopefully you guys are enjoying those items. I definitely am. I didn't use, actually, no, I did use quite a bit of things from that update. I used the plant a lot. I even used the ceiling fan, and then the doors, of course. So, but now we're on into the interior, and like I said, I did have to not include the floor plan, so I do apologize, but I do always include floor plan shots at the end of every video. But we're starting off with the kitchen, and I don't end up keeping these counters. I was trying to do something that I don't normally do or normally use, and I don't know if this was the build for it, so I ended up switching them out for some different ones in a little while. They're the ones that came with Cool Kitchen, I think, and I go with the dark brown version, but later on I change it to match the rest of the wood in the house. So yeah, you'll see it all come together, and I actually forget to replace all of the upper head cabinets, so it's kind of a mess for a while, but you'll see it all come together. But this dining area ends up being one of my favorite parts of the house, because I end up using one of those, I guess they're a bay window seat, and it's not functional. Unfortunately, your Sims can't sit at a couch or a chair that's not an actual dining chair at a table, so, but it looks pretty. I think it looks really nice, but here I am placing it now, and it just looks really nice, and I end up using a lot of sheer curtains, and I just really like the effect of it. I feel like it looks totally different than any other house I've ever built, and I've said this before, but it's always a really good feeling when you build something and you're like, oh, this like is new, and it's, I don't know, it's kind of exciting, especially since I build all the time. I don't want to build the same thing over and over. So very happy about that. And I do add some clutter items to the kitchen, but I didn't want to overly do it because I was kind of thinking this is a little bit more of a cleaner rustic home. I don't know if it's really a clean home. It's not like a super tidy show house or anything. It does look lived in, but I didn't want to overdo it in this house, especially since it's not really that big. I didn't want it to be hard to use. But we do end up, I think, switching out the counters here in a little while. I forget exactly. I actually just built this yesterday. It's what I spent doing on my Sunday. It was a really nice day, actually. We did have to go to town because my husband accidentally ripped that microphone out of one of our headsets for our Xbox. He was trying to pull a prank on me and was not very successful, and all he did was break the headphones. So we did have to go buy a new headset so we can talk to our friends on the Xbox. But yeah, so that's what we did yesterday, and then I built this, and it was a lot of fun. I also ate a veggie burger that was delicious. So I don't know why I shared those things. I don't normally talk about myself too much in my videos, but anyways, if you would like to know, that's what I did on my Sunday. And then today is Monday and I'm editing this, and I have a lot of intentions on recording an episode of my Not So Berry challenge. Now I know so many of you guys have asked where that is, and I apologize. It hasn't been my intention for this to, I guess, have taken so long for me to get back into it, but I guess just because I took such a long break, it makes it even harder to get back into it. So I apologize, but expect that to be coming soon. I was planned on having it out last week, but every time I went to record it, there was something going on, or somebody was asking me to do something, or there was noise, and it's just, yeah, it's been kind of a struggle. But as you can see, I did switch out the counters, and I do switch the color later on, but like I said, I didn't finish doing all the cabinets and had no idea until I think I go back to change them later. And so if you're worried about that, don't worry. They all match in the end. It's not all, it's kind of a mess right now, but it all comes together. And this is going to be the living space, and I also really like this area of the house. I really wanted to use this swatch of the couches that came with seasons. Now I really like the gray and brown, but the bright green really didn't match most of the things that I had in the house, so I do switch it to the white and gray color just because it just matches a lot better, and I feel like they're just the easiest color scheme to use, or at least color swatch of those couches that came with the seasons pack. Now I love the couches, but some of the color patterns, or at least the color combinations, are a little bit bright and a little bit overdone, so I don't know. Wish we had some more plain swatches, but I do really like them. I think especially compared to some of the other couches we've gotten. I think the color patterns are maybe a little bit easier to use. But anyways, the living area has pretty much came together. I do open up the debug menu here in a little while and pull out some of the magazines that I've been obsessed with using. Recently, I think maybe in a few builds ago, I mentioned how I want to start using them more, and so I've just been trying to remind myself or train myself to check the debug menu a little bit more for certain items, and it was brought to my attention in one of the builds that there are other magazines. Now, they're not labeled as magazines, so I think that's why I didn't know that they exist, but there's like a music one, there is like a fashion one, a book of poems. Now, I think they're actually just books, and this one on the coffee table is actually a magazine. But there's the poem one. I end up putting it in the office later. And then there's the music one. I put that in one of the teens' rooms. But if you size them up, they look like magazines, and so I've been obsessing over those lately, and I will probably use them in a lot of builds. But if you're curious, they're not custom content, so don't worry about that. They are from the debug menu, and so they are like hidden objects in the game. So if you open up the cheat bar and you type in bb.show hidden objects, and then in the search bar you can type in debug, and then all of the stuff that's hidden in the game will show up, and you can just scroll through it. Some things now will disappear, or your Sims will clean them up, but I mean, the more you mess with it, the more you will learn what items can be just used as decoration, and it's really nice because it adds a lot more variety to the game. They're just hidden, but yeah, really like using that. But this is going to be the office space. Now, I don't know if this door is technically the front door or if the other door by the living room is the front door. I think on the floor plan that I was looking off of, the other door is the front door, because this room was supposed to be the master bedroom, but I felt like it didn't really make sense for the floor plan. So I think the way I changed it makes a little bit more sense, at least for the Sims anyways. So I turned it into kind of an office room. You could of course turn it into like a skill building room. and I just really like the way it turns out. But there's that book of poems that I was talking about, just sized it up to look like a magazine, and yeah, The Sims should be able to use it. I didn't play test that, but maybe I'll check it out before I upload this to the gallery. If not, it makes awesome decorations, and I kind of don't really want them to move it because they might put it in a bookcase if they do. And then I put one of those new chairs that we just got with the update over by the door. So maybe I did use quite a bit of items. I think the only thing that I didn't use from that update was the wallpapers, because it didn't really suit this build. I did use just pretty much gray wallpapers throughout the entire house because I really wanted that kind of clean, modern-ish look. And then the bathrooms I think are white, and then the kids' rooms are purple. Teens rooms. I guess I shouldn't really call them kids because they're teens. Yeah, so this area has pretty much came together. I think this is all of the things that I add. We got an easel in there, we got a guitar, and then the computer, of course. And this room is going to be the master bedroom. So this is the first time I've done a master bedroom on the bottom floor in quite a while, but I think in this house it totally works. And I just really like the way this room turns out. I layered these rugs, which I thought looked really pretty, and yeah, very happy with that. And then we got this City Living 4-post bed, which is a little bit fancy maybe for this house, but I felt like the colors just worked so perfectly, and I liked the gray wood, and I really like the gray wood on this bed with those side tables that came with Laundry Day. They have like I think pretty much the same gray wood texture, so I was really happy about that. The dresser that I used is from Seasons. Now it's not perfectly matching, but the top of the dresser matches the rest of the woods that are like the tan color, but the gray part is kind of a blue gray. So it's not perfect, but I think it looks really nice. I also got a cat tree in here because I did put some food bowls in the kitchen. I kind of imagine that maybe they have a couple dogs and a cat, not exactly sure. Like I said, I will create a family for this, but it's not going to be like a video or anything, but they will be included in my save file, and I will try to introduce as many families when I release it. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do it, if I'll do it in like multiple parts or if I'll just release it and try to show as many things as I can. If you guys have any ideas, since we have some time to kind of prepare and I guess have it all come together, I can probably start thinking a little bit more about how I should release it and maybe what you guys would like to see. If you guys would like to see the community lots, I mean, not everything will be shown in a video, so maybe I should just highlight those that are maybe just done for the save file, because some will be old builds, some will be builds that I've never shared, some will be just things that I change. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Maybe we should just save those things for when you download it, then it's like a surprise. I don't know. But this is the ensuite bathroom. So this is what I was talking about. It's a little bit weird because it does have two entrances, one into the main living area and one into the master bedroom. Now I did want it to be a private bathroom, but I don't know, I just felt like it would be kind of a dead end to the house, and I felt like it just flowed so much better to have two doors so you can come in and out, and then other Sims can use it, so it's not really private for a master bathroom. And we do have a laundry room that I guess if you wanted this to be a little bit more private, you could turn into a bathroom as well, but I don't know, I think this works the best. But here I realized that that those did not match, and I also changed them to this light brown, kind of yellowy brown color, and yeah, I just think that all works really nicely, and it matches pretty well to like the doors and the other like light wood colors that I used in the house. So very happy about that. And then I got some bathroom clutter just to make it feel lived in, and yeah, I just think it turns out to be a really nice bathroom. The upstairs one is pretty much the same, and I thought about cutting out, but I left it in. And this upstairs landing area I also think turns out really nice. Now that picture that I have above the side table is also a debug object. I think it came with Parenthood, and yeah, I thought it was really pretty. I wish it was framed, but I still think it looks really nice. And like I said, this bathroom is pretty much the same to the downstairs one, but we get a shower and tub combo instead of a separate shower and bath, so I mean that's a little bit different. I also get a litter box in here because like I said, I thought that they at least had one cat, so I definitely needed a spot for the cat to go to the bathroom, so I just put it over there in kind of its own little corner out of the way. And yeah, I think it turns out really nice. It didn't take me that long for this bathroom to come together, but I also had some clutter up on the counters as I always do. I've been pretty good about remembering the toothbrushes lately. I've been trying to remember it because it's definitely realistic clutter that I just love to have in my game. And then I sized down this towel, which I've been doing a lot lately, and I think that looks really nice, but that's about it for the bathroom. So it didn't take me that long, and it's pretty nice, I think. So I skipped over this room, which is the laundry room. It's also downstairs. Usually I could like complete an entire floor before I move on to like the second floor, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I guess I forgot that I wanted to have a laundry room. So once I remembered, I went back and decorated it, and then I also made it kind of like a utility storage room, so it's kind of like a garage, which I thought was kind of nice. So I put some of those like totes that are for decorating for the holidays on here, and I also put some like camping storage and just like random boxes and stuff, just tried to clutter it up and make it look like, yeah, your Sims just have things put away for when they need them, and I thought that was really nice. This shelf always throws me off because it actually has shelf slots on the bottom where there actually isn't anything physically there. So it's a bit weird. So some things just snap to it, so that's why I ended up raising up the totes to the second shelf. But it all came together. Then I get the family bulletin board in here, so maybe if they want to set a curfew for their teens, because I did imagine at least the one that was in the music was a bit rebellious. At least that's what I imagined for her character. And yeah, kind of thought that she just doesn't care and she does what she wants and has a lot of fun. So I thought that was a pretty fun character to think of. And then now we are on to the upstairs. So these are going to be both of the teen rooms. We decorate the more girly one first. Now it's not like a super girly, like I didn't imagine her to be like snobby or kind of a mean girl, but I wanted her to be kind of cliquey a little bit and kind of just really into social events and just very outgoing. And I don't know, I'm very happy with the way her room turned out. I think it is really pretty. I also get a desk in here. I think I get a camera because I imagine that she takes lots of pictures with her friends. She's just very social, is what I was thinking. So I will definitely have a lot of fun creating this family, I think, because I really did think about them quite a bit. So usually I kind of get like a general idea. I don't necessarily think, I don't know, this detailed, but I really had a lot of fun thinking of the family for this house. And I really liked using this swatch of this bed with the purple and the yellow. I thought it was really cool and kind of funky, so I was very happy to use it. I also liked it in combination with the rug that I used that's from Laundry Day. It doesn't have any yellow in it necessarily, but it kind of has like yellowish hues, I think, to the greens and purples and pinks that are in it. I don't know, I felt like it just worked so nicely and really liked using those skateboards on the wall. So she's kind of, I feel like, has a little bit of a hippie vibe to her. So I think she's going to be a fun character to create anyways, is what I'm saying. And then this is her desk over here so she can write in her journal or get some homework done or whatever she needs to do. And then a bookcase to have some place to, you know, grab some books and do some reading, and a few pillows on the ground. So it's a bit more tidy, I think, than the other bedroom. I do put a little bit of clutter on the side table, and I also end up pulling out some debug posters later on and put them above the bed. But I think all in all, it's pretty tidy, I guess, in the sense that I didn't use the floor clutter mess that came with Parenthood, because I do end up using it in the other room, because I kind of feel like this girl, she doesn't care. Like, if she's told to clean her room, she does what she wants. She just goes out and she has a lot of fun. So I think she's a bit rebellious and maybe a bit hot-headed and just kind of wants to maybe be a musician, and she's a bit wild, and I think she'd be probably a pretty fun character to play with. But this is her room, and I loved using this rug. I think it came with the Jungle Adventure pack. I really liked using it with this season's bed. I thought it was really pretty and really like the combination. It did take me a little while to kind of get this room sorted out with the way I wanted the furniture to be laid around, because I have this thing, and I don't know if it's kind of weird, but I'll explain it to you guys. I don't like the beds on one level to be facing the same direction. So I don't know if that is a very good design thing, but for me, it's not pleasing to the eye if you're looking from above the house. If the beds are going in the same direction, it looks too uniform and weird, and so I always have to have them going in a different direction. So I don't know if that makes sense, but that's the way I think. So if it takes me a while to get a room situated, usually that's why, because I am trying to not have the beds go in the same direction as the other room. And this one, I don't know, I felt like it took a little while, but I think it came together really nicely. And she's got a desk over here as well, and I end up using this debug poster that I thought looked pretty cool and thought that it suited the character I was thinking of. And then there's that music magazine that I was talking about. Like I said, I think it's a book, but it looks like it might be a magazine, and so I thought that was pretty perfect. I was going to use the other one that was like the fashion one in the other girl's room, but I didn't really imagine her to be like a fashion person, so I didn't think it quite suited her, so I ended up not leaving that in there. And then she's got a guitar in here, and it's got like, I think, a little bit of a skull or something on it, and then she's got the mess on the ground, and a lot of like blacks and more darker colors. I kind of imagine she might wear some like black lipstick or some purple lipstick or something, and just have a lot more of an edgier style, maybe some like black nail polish, which we don't have in game unfortunately, but I definitely have CC nail polish, which is definitely a must for me. But anyways, that is about it. Sorry for my rambly commentary. I feel like it's been a little bit extra rambly today, so sorry if I was a bit annoying. But we are coming up on the screenshots, so I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I hope you guys do like the screenshots. And I just wanted to thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions that you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!
I was lost in a city dream, and I was at home again beside the stream. Then you walked past me, and you saw me and smiled. I will never forget the first time when I saw you. I thought I lost my mind. Blue and faded, was blown away and left behind. I hope you'll always be around, even if I fail. You are like a summer breeze that I must inhale. Is it possible for us to feel this way forever? Loving you has never felt more right. Woke up lonely, and for you there is nothing in this world I wouldn't do. Walk 1,000 miles just to see you. I hope you'll always be around, even if I fail. You are like a summer breeze that I must inhale. Is it possible for us to feel this way forever? I hope you'll always be around, even if I fail. You are like a summer breeze that I must inhale. Is it possible for us to feel this way forever? Loving you has never felt more right. I was lost in a city dream, and I was at home again beside the stream. Then you walked past me, and you saw me and smiled. I will never forget the first time when I saw you. I thought I lost my mind. Blue and faded, was blown away and left behind. I hope you'll always be around, even if I fail. You are like a summer breeze that I must inhale. Is it possible for us to feel